big worry, right? Because do you know what happened? What happened when Bitcoin went from 20,000 to 18.5 when someone got liquidated for
I
320
saw some
million?
firms got liquidated. Yeah.
Do you know which firms?
I forgot the names. I seen some firms got liquidated, and that's another thing, right? Talking about that, a lot of crypto went up to the massive levels they went up to is because every company was getting funding, they were getting massive leverage, and they started leveraging everything. And when the crypto market came down, which no one thought it would, they all got liquidated.
Yeah. Do you know, because I thought Michael Saylor had a margin call if Bitcoin fell below 21. Do you know if he got
So
called?
so I heard about that, but he posted something on Twitter saying it was at 3,000.
Oh my
I don't
gosh.
know how he achieved 3,000.
Right.
I thought it was closer to like 18, maybe 15.
Mm-hmm.
All right. If it is 3,000, he's kind of safe unless we go there.
Right.
But if let's just say hypothetically it is at 18,000 and he gets wiped out, I hope he doesn't. I don't wish him bad or anything, right? Once again, it's a healthy thing for the overall market to, wipe things out and restart over again. It is going to cause a massive flash crash,
Yeah.
but long term wise, things like that are okay.
Yeah. I feel like it's wiping out the fake money.
Yeah.
Which, well, before I ask you this question, I'm just wondering, when did you officially get involved with crypto?
I started buying a little bit in 2018, but when I really started buying was in 2020.
Okay.
I think it was after or before we did our podcast. I don't remember.
Oh,
When we did
really?
it. Yeah, when it was around 10, 11,000. That's when I just started dumping money in. Even when I sold that SV, I was telling you, took all that money, dumped it in there, every single thing.
Amazing.
And it went to 60K. And the only thing is I sold 20% of it, right? 20% of everything overall, where in reality, I wanted to go liquid about 50, 60%.
Yeah.
And I even tweeted it in December, but it's like what happened in 2020 with my SPY play.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know. Do I miss this move up? Am I selling early? You start questioning things. So I didn't liquidate all the way.
Yeah. Well, I think you sold 20% more than most people.
Yeah, but my plan was to be at 50, 60%. That would have been ideally very
That'd been
well,
perfect.
but just didn't execute on it.
Yeah, it's what do they call it? Not toxic positivity, but hopium.
Yeah.
A lot of hopium in crypto, way more than stocks.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting because did I ever tell you about how I got involved with crypto?
No, what happened?
So my buddy was like, "Oh, you should join this Forex trading bot.
Oh man.
It's awesome. You just need to deposit $10,000 worth of Bitcoin in order to transfer it to the firm." I think I'm not even gonna say what the bot's name was, but I tried it and then it went down 20% like immediately, and I'm like, "Okay, that's like my cutoff. I'm not doing
Like
this."
that's it. Yeah.
And then like what was funny was when I tried to transfer it out into my Coinbase, they have like sales reps trying to convince you to stay, and like
From
this.
Coinbase?
No, for the
Forex bot.
for the
Oh, okay.
Forex bot that I was using, because I was using a Forex bot, but through like a brokerage account. So the brokerage account was calling me and saying he had this spiel. He's like, Scott, what if I told you that to keep your money in for 3 more weeks, we'll give you 10%? And I go,
Yeah.
no. And then he was like confused why I was saying no. But eventually I got that money back in Bitcoin, just 8 grand. But at the time that was 1.3 Bitcoin. And then the next day it went up 10%. And I was like, there might be something here. And then like that's when I bought a bunch of Ethereum, Bitcoin, and Litecoin, and I've been holding out on my cold wallet ever since.
You didn't sell any of that?
No, that's I look at that as like the one thing I will never sell. Like
Never ever?
well, I mean, I kind of look at it as like my retirement because
Okay.
that's a good topic because like
Well, now hold on. Let me ask you this, right? And I'm a big believer in Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? But I'm also a big believer in technology changing. Right now, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to hold Bitcoin until retirement, 40 years down.
right,
Now, I will hold it for 5 years, but I don't know if or can it get replaced.
right,
I personally don't know the technology that well, and I also don't know how the market is going to change. So with the way technology has evolved in just 10 years, when I think about 40 years, I'm like, whoa, a lot can happen where Bitcoin could get knocked down.
right.
Ethereum could get knocked down. Something else could come out. The whole infrastructure of money could change in a different direction. Not saying it is or it's not. So doesn't that kind of cross your mind?
It does, but the one thing about Bitcoin, I just feel of all the projects out there, it's the one thing that is truly unmanipulatable unless Satoshi Nakamoto comes out of nowhere. But Bitcoin is obviously at this point the gold stand, like the gold, because gold, I mean, it's even better than gold because you can always find more gold and everything. So I think Bitcoin is always going to be there. Anybody who's saying Bitcoin is going to replace the dollar is dumb because they obviously don't understand how long it takes to send money. Like I've paid for stuff in person with Litecoin before in seconds. If it's going to be anything, it's going to be Ethereum 2.0 or Litecoin. But in terms of like holding Bitcoin, I'm down to hold it forever in the sense of like I'm willing to take that risk simply because like that is the only project out there that's purely unmanipulatable.
What would be a selling price?
Selling
If there was
price
a number right now, 1 to tomorrow, that you would be like, all right, I'm selling
a million.
a million,
If Michael Saylor's like predictions are right, you know, because he sees it going to 1 to 2
and
million.
up to a million, you wouldn't offload anything.
Actually, honestly, since I saw it go up to 60,000 and then down to 30 and then back up to 68 and then now down to 20, I'd probably sell like you at 20% around like 100,000. But like that would take a lot because again, as bad as it sounds, like yeah, there's like an emotional attachment because I've held it for so
Yeah.
long. But like I'm fine with offloading anything else. But like those three right there, I just feel like I don't want to be in a position where I miss the boat because this is the ultimate question that I have to ask myself. Which is worse? Selling at the bottom and watching it go up
Yeah, I know.
or constantly watching everything go down? I'm not sure which is worse, honestly.
I think so. That's something I deal with too on some long term plays, and I'm like, I have other things going on where that requires my time and attention.
Mm-hmm.
So if I start playing the tops and bottoms in all my investments, my time and energy get taken away from that.
Right.
Right. And now it's not only time and energy, it's emotional capacity too.
Yeah.
Right. You sell Bitcoin at 40K, goes to 60. I don't care who you are, it's going to bother you.
Yeah.
Not just the money, but the fact of being wrong.
Right.
So I'm like, do I deal with that, or do I say, hey, my price target or my prediction for Bitcoin, where I'll offload half of it, is at 200 or 250,000, let's say, right? Do I hold it until there and I start selling and now taking that asset or that cash and moving it elsewhere, or do I start playing the tops and bottoms? Now, if I want to play the tops and bottoms, I get fully involved in the crypto space or investing space, and I stop doing my other projects.
Yeah.
So it's a battle of picking and choosing how much mental capacity can I put into something. Like a lot of people tell me with stocks, they're like, hey, why don't you sell option calls on your positions? And I'm like, I lose way more money doing that. Well, that's what Warren Buffett does. Yeah, because that's Warren Buffett's full-time job. He also has over $250 billion in assets that he can sell against.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not dealing with 250 billion. And also I don't have people under me that are going to manage my investments and sell calls against them to make 1% or 2% every couple of months.
Right.
That 1 or 2% isn't worth it to me because I can make way more in putting that time and energy into other places.
I'm really glad you brought that up because that's something I really learned more than ever in the past like 6-7 months is like that mental capacity.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are, it
Mm-hmm.
affects you.
Oh, yeah.
Because I noticed like when the market was tanking, that was actually when I was doing 75 hard. And like what I noticed was like when, as bad as it sounds, because like I always try to say like I'm not emotionally attached, but we all are in some capacity. Yeah. I would notice I'd have worse workouts like when the market was tanking. I remember that day, I forget, that's when like everything broke, like Solana broke below 70, Litecoin broke below 90. It was, I forget which day it was. But I remember I was working out and I just saw that and I just walked into the basketball court and I was just looking at these charts and that's when I was like, I think I need to sell right now. And then I did. And then like I noticed my focus went up on all my other projects because I'm working on a bunch that I can't necessarily talk about right now. I can talk to you off camera, but like I just noticed like these projects are just like doing super well, but that mental capacity and that energy, I wasn't able to like approach it to the fullest as I could because I was so distracted. So I'm glad you brought that up. I'd love for you to talk about that more of like what the average person like would misunderstand about that.
I think when you get into certain investments, you have to understand what was your game plan, right? So when I got into Bitcoin at around 10, 11, 12 grand, right? My game plan was I want to hold it for 5, 10 years, right? Towards at least 200,000. That's my target. Now I can once again play the tops and bottoms, but that's not what I'm going to try to play here because it's impossible for me to predict that top and bottom, right? It's like, how they talk about the S&P 500. If you invest your money over a course of 30, 40 years, you make 9%, 10%. Yeah, but that 9, 10% maybe comes from good 7, 8 years, not every single year. But you will only catch those years by being invested into the market.
Yeah.
So if you're invested at a good price point, right, and it does start going your way and you're in it for the long run and nothing changes with the project, let's keep that in mind too, right? And don't just buy something, hold it for 10 years and expect it to go up. Make sure nothing is changing with that project. Everything looks good. Just put it into an account and don't look at it, right? But that's only if you are doing other things. Your focus is on other things. But now if that's all the money you have and you dumped it into Bitcoin or you dumped it into, Ethereum or any stock, let's say, it's going to affect you. Like I know people that took out mortgages against their house to buy more Bitcoin. Not at 10,000, not at 20,000, not at 30, at 40, 50,000, because Tesla bought it. Michael
Yeah.
Saylor's buying more. It can't go lower.
Do you know anyone who did that and bought UST?
I don't know about UST. I don't know if anyone did that. I know people did it with Bitcoin. I know someone did margin heavy with Tesla, and they got a margin call at like 7 something and got wiped out.
Man.
Over 100K plus, fully wiped out. Lost everything they invested plus their unrealized gains and more. And it was because when they went in, they didn't have a plan.
Yeah.
And the plan is also, where are you going to sell?
Yep.
You know, some people go and saying, hey, I want to make 20%. They make 20%. I want to make 40%.
Yeah,
They make
they
40%.
greedy.
I want to make 100%. They make 100% and they never stop. And it's like, hey, you need to have that stop point, especially if your time zone, right, is very small in terms of how long you're going to invest for.
Yeah.
So that needs to be a lot different.
Yeah. Every time I've gone against my trading plan, big flop.
Yeah, I know.
Have you heard of Opal?
No.
Opulus?
Opulus? No,
It's like a music NFT where like you own like certain shares.
I personally, when the NFT space came out, I personally stayed away from it.
Well, not necessarily NFT. I actually misphrased that. It's like they call it SFTs, but you invest through their crypto.
I heard
coin.
about SFT, something about SFTs. I didn't look into it. I just, once again, for me, I have a lot of things on my plate where I've learned over the long course to not divert your focus away from the next
100%.
shiny object.
Right.
Right. And if you do it, make sure you have the capacity and the time to do it and you understand it. Don't just hop on the train, because if you hop on the train, you're eventually going to get crushed.
Yep.
Right. So for me, when NFTs came out, like I said, a lot of people try to put me on, hey, get in this, get in that. I told you. And I'm like, I don't know anything about it.
Right.
I don't have the time to learn about it. And it's the first wave.
Right.
I would rather wait for the second or third wave, right? When everything crashes and then start looking into it, and when I have time.
Right.
So I don't even understand how it works. I don't even have an account on OpenSea.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't even have an account, because I'm like, I know if I have an account and have downtime, I know what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Start buying.
It's fun to buy.
Yeah,
it's
so I'm like,
it's
no.
the funnest thing to
I'm
buy
like, nope,
for sure.
yeah.
But yeah, with that Opal, like I bought it 320, and within 10 hours it went up to $4.40, and I went in heavy, and I was like, awesome. And then I put a hard stop at 280. It triggered a couple weeks later, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to miss the boat. I'm gonna put it back in. Guess where it's at right now?
What's it at?
Fucking 12 cents.
Oh my god.
So it's just like, it's always that thing where like it goes back to emotions, you know. It's like, it's such an emotional thing, just investing money. And like I think that
it's money. It's going to be emotional for a lot of people.
Yeah. So
you know
what's your secret with trying to sever the emotions from the actual investments?
So the good companies and good like cryptos I have, I don't care. I'm like whatever about, right? I also have I have like Matic, and I have like a few small cryptos as well. I don't believe in them as much. But when I put the money in, I already went in with the mindset of either I'm going to 20, 30x this, or it's going to go to zero.